What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Gent. In today's video, we're going to talk about some of the really cool things that are happening with Nano Dimensions, one of our favorite 3D printing stocks. And let's just be straight up. This is a stock that a lot of us really got into back in 2020, 2021. And the CEO at the time, who's still CEO, Yoav Stern, he raised a ton of funds to really protect the company. And there's been some really cool things that have happened in the last month and a half where I wasn't making really any videos. So I just want to do a quick update, a quick recap. And there's also a breaking news event, and I want to make sure you know exactly what to do. So without ado, if you haven't done it already, like the video, share the video, send it to a friend, subscribe to the channel, and remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, so do your own research. So Nano Dimensions is a stock that's currently sitting at $2.50. We are on Boxing Day. Maybe I'll refresh it and see how we're doing. You know what? It's still $2.50. And it has been doing okay. Keep in mind, it was doing way better in the past. At the peaks of the last bull market, we were around $15 to $18. I don't think this is captured that accurately. And over time, the stock deflated as sort of all the hype, momentum, risk on activity went away. But on this sort of uptrend, Yoav Stern was diluting shareholders as much as possible because he called SPAC mania unsustainable. Now, before we even get into this, the market cap of the company is $630 million. They have over $1 billion in shareholders' equity, which tells you that there is at least a 50% increase in this price that is justified from the financials alone. If you were to not have anything else, you just bought the company, took it apart piece by piece, this company should be worth around $3.75 to $4 US a share. So this is a very clearly undervalued company at the time. Sorry, you just grabbed something. But we're not here to just talk about the bare minimum, because that's what that is. What we want to talk about are some of the new press releases that just came out. One came out last week on the 23rd. So that was Friday, was Monday. So this came out like Saturday, I guess. And this is a huge update because they said that they would basically buy all outstanding Stratasys shares that they don't own for $16.5 each. Once I saw that, the first thing I did pre-market was I bought some Stratasys stock. It was around like a little below, you know what? It was a little around it was around $14. Yeah, like here. And the stock has gone up about maybe $1 since then, but it's incredible because what you want to think about is the opportunity, right? So this is a proposal. It's not definitive. They are waiting for due diligence. They want to do a sort of comprehensive strategic review. They're already the largest shareholder of Stratasys, and because they got so much cash, they want to use that cash to buy this company and sort of work their magic, bring it into the fold, and make a ton of revenue. So this is something that's they're looking to do in the future, but they do want to do their due diligence. They're not going to pull an Elon Musk and just say, hey, we're buying Twitter, whatever, not checking any of the numbers that they purport. And this is very important, to make sure you're valuing the business appropriately. Because anyone can say whatever they want. Maybe it's a mistake, maybe it's malicious, but you need to have your own independent auditors go in and really find out what the value of the company is, and then make sure you bid appropriately. So my Stratasys shares, I'm not going to hold on to them for probably even till end of day. And the reason for that is I don't know if any news will come out that will cause a reversal. So they said $16.50 is sort of where it should get to. And the reason for that is that's the price. But what happens if the price gets rejected? What happens if the due diligence falls apart? Well, then this stock is going to crater the opposite way. So I don't want to take on that risk. Now, that's one of the events, and it's very important to know this is something they went back and forth on, right? So you probably remember this summer, I made a ton of Nano Dimension videos talking about all the legal issues, replacing sort of the board of directors, not just in Nano Dimensions, but in I think it's Mutchison was trying to do that in Nano Dimensions, while Nano Dimensions was trying to do it to Stratasys. Now, one of the other things we want to talk about that I didn't cover recently is their most recent earnings report for Q3. I always say, don't just read the title. Yes, third best quarter in the company's history. How's it doing trend-wise, right? So if we take a look at this, they made $12.2 million in Q3, and they made $14.74 million in the previous quarter. Their gross margin, I believe, is the same at 44% across the board. Adjusted gross margin around 48% both times. And then what you find is that they had a significant net loss, and the net loss in Q3, or the negative EBITDA in Q3 with the R&D expenses, is a worse mix than here, because what happened was it was 24 million, 13 of which was R&D, so half. R&D is not a bad cost because R&D is sort of future focused, right? Here it was 30 million and 11 was R&D. So you have a more skewed mix of non-impactful expenses. One of the things that comes up in the CEO letter by Yoav Stern is really they had to take sort of battle on the chin. They had to pay or lose a ton of money defending themselves from the upset shareholders. So let's just take a look quickly and see some of the key takeaways. So the strong organic growth continues. They're going to try to scale the business with a focus on revenue growth and gross margin improvement. I've been saying this in every earnings call. How much is the revenue growing? How much are their expenses coming down? And gross margin just means your profitability percentage. So if you're spending, half, if your gross margin is 50%, then half of the money you're spending, you're making a profit. So the revenue was 42 million was for the first 9 months. Yeah, great. The revenue increase happened during notable macroeconomic uncertainty. Don't forget, this is a company that's in the midst of the entire Gaza conflict, right? There's a ton of stuff going on there, and I don't want to say it's distracted them, but I mean, imagine how hard it is to work in a war-torn area, right? And he acknowledges the investors and other stakeholders who have supported us on an individual and collective level with their concern and well wishes as the war of Israel against Hamas. Our focus remains on meeting our business targets. Great. And here's that piece that I was talking about. Another unwelcomed hostility of the business type involved our interaction with these upset shareholders, and they had to deploy time and money, $15 million in 2023, to defend Nano Dimensions. So glad they won, not happy they burned a bunch of cash, because we don't want them burning cash. Every time they spend money, that's coming out of our pocket too. Because even if you're saying, hey, it's fantastic to have that, this is a CEO who's made it very clear he's not shy from diluting shareholders. He doesn't care. He will do whatever it takes for the company to succeed. And that's great. That's why he's CEO. But at the same time, that doesn't mean our goals and objectives are aligned as investors and the CEO, because short-term wise, he doesn't care. Long-term, yes, he wants to make it profitable, so the board of directors sort of keeps him in. I hope that sort of makes sense. I'm not going to read through the rest of this. You can check out the link in the description below for that. And maybe one last thing I will say over here. Let's go to Nano Dimensions stock. Sorry, I don't know why I have Mara up here. Mara's doing fantastic. If you've watched some videos on my channel, I hope you saw the big bet I made and how I've been telling you guys. Bitcoin mining is huge. Mara, Nano Dimensions, and Zomedica are my 3 speculative plays in my portfolio. So Nano Dimensions, as you can see here, it's really been like, I don't want to say struggling, but the lowest it got to was $2.06 at probably a year ago. And then it's been battling around the $2.20 line a couple of times. The last time we were $2.20 in June, we went all the way up to like $3.35. We sold off. The market conditions are doing really well. Remember, they're saying inflation is pretty much behind us for the most part, right? That's kind of good. We're going to start seeing the money printer start to turn on. When the money printer turns on, you've seen it happen with crypto. There's a lot of asset valuations that are increasing. This will help be an additional tailwind to bring the stock up. But from a fundamental standpoint, we've got to be better at not sort of going all over the place. And I hope this acquisition of Stratasys goes on without any actual problems. So they do their due diligence, and hopefully it passes, and then they can acquire the company and sort of build this other vertical in their business. Hey, we got Ben Ramirez here. Nano Dimension, been bag holding this for years. Yeah, I think a lot of us have been bag holding. I think this was one of my worst buys because I had bought a bunch at a very high average. And you can see here, it's not to say we won't get back there, but this is a huge, huge mountain to climb. And we have been trading range bound pretty much since 2022 and all of 2023, 2 years of this. So hopefully we're going to see, let me see if I can draw the arrow here. Is it a ray or whatever? Something like this. Be nice to draw like that, so we get sort of the bounce. But we'll see what happens. That's pretty much it for this video. If you like the video, you like the content, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on All Tech. And until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.